Hello and welcome to Shutter Chat. I'm Jerry Puckett, and this week we are talking about photography and the holidays. Yes, the holiday season is upon us. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of people doing photography, and at the same time, there are people that are anticipating gifts, from those that are giving gifts. And they're anticipating gifts that are going to help them in their photography, things that they like, and help them in their hobby. And so we know that there's going to be a lot of people out there on our list that have hobbies, and some are going to be interested in photography and are photographers. So what do we do as far as gifts, stocking stuffers, and those types of things? Well, even I, as a photographer, have to admit I really get excited about receiving stocking stuffers, gifts, that relate to photography. And I also like gifts under the tree, things that are photography related. Now, it doesn't mean you have to buy somebody a camera for their photography. It doesn't mean that if they're somebody that's interested in photography, they're just getting started, they don't have a camera, then that's great. A camera will serve very well. Camera, whether it be digital, whether it be film camera, or even an instant film camera. Any of those are great ideas. But there's those that also have cameras, and we think, well, they have a camera, they have it all. But there are other ideas for the holidays as far as giving presents. For stocking stuffers, one of them that I always recommend is film. Film is something I believe, that is, if they're a film photographer, film will be a great stocking stuffer gift. Film, whether it be a Kodak product, an Ilford product, a Harman product, a Foma product, Arista, Rollei, whatever the name brand of the film, Fuji, it doesn't matter. It still can be a great film. But if they like to shoot black and white, then why not pick up a box of, Tri-X 400. You can't go wrong with that. Tri-X 400. And with the price of Kodak film going up, this being 2021, this really does them a favor. It saves them some money from having to buy some film at a higher cost later after the beginning of the year. So, you can never get enough film. 400 Tri-X film, and of course, if they like color, here's some slide film. Ektachrome E100. That is a very good film and produces very good color renditions. And I use a lot of E100. In fact, I'm not shooting as much 35 millimeter color negative anymore, and I'm shooting a lot of color slides, so I think that this is a great stocking stuffer idea as well. And of course, if they like any other type of film, that's great. If it's within your budget, to maybe grab some other stocks of film from other manufacturers, that's fine as well. But these are just a couple of recommendations that I thought about as far as it comes to negative film. Now, if you have somebody that's a digital photographer, then how about some digital memory cards, SD cards, and those types of storage cards. Those can go a long way, of course, in helping to take photographs for the photographer. So they're nice, they're small, they fit right into a stocking, and so there you go. So there's some ideas that you can use in going out and shopping and doing some of the last minute shopping for that photographer in your life. There's also books that are very good for the photographer. When I talk about education, there's nothing like education when it comes to photography, especially when the photographer, they think they have it all. Well, here it is, a good set by Ansel Adams, the very famous Ansel Adams, who made many great photographs based out of California. A lot of his photographic work was made on the West Coast, and still is sought after, bought today, and displayed today in galleries and homes. So Ansel Adams, who else would you want to get some of your information from? One of the best, I think, authors and teachers when it comes to photography, with his decades and decades of experience in photography. And the 3-volume set can be purchased used, from a thrift store, online, used, or you can even get the new reprinted books that are out today in softcover, hardcover editions. But this is one of the early edition sets that I have here, and the first one, of course, is the Print. The Print is a good book. It talks about, I'm sorry, this is the book 3. The camera. The first book is the camera. Now, remember, these books were printed and authored and printed back at a time when photography was film-based. It wasn't digitally based like it is today. But I still say that a lot of the techniques in these books can still be used by those that are using digital photography. So if you're into digital photography or somebody's into digital photography, I still think that you can learn a lot from these books and apply a lot of the material from them. So here's the camera. These again are going to talk about 35 millimeter miniature format, and of course medium format, those formats which are running about 6 by 4.5 all the way up to 6 by 9, and then of course large format cameras, 4 by 5, 8 by 10, and larger. So these books cover a lot of those types of cameras. They don't cover the digital cameras, but digital cameras still, again, you can use a lot of the techniques when it comes to talking about lenses and focal lengths and all of that type of thing. And I think you'll find that those techniques can still be used, whether it be film or digital. The next book that's in the series is the book called The Negative. Now, the negative today, of course, we talk about, digital photographers don't use a negative. They use a software program such as Lightroom or something to that effect. Well, the negative talks about properly exposing a negative, developing and all of that. Well, if you're into the digital, then you can use some of the techniques from the book to also kind of bring it into Lightroom. Look at contrast and all of that when it comes to the negative. The print is the last book in the series, and of course, whether you print digitally or on a printer, or if you print in a dark room, the print is very important because this is the final product from the photography. This is where you're displaying it, not only maybe on a device such as a iPad or a computer, but you have now the hard copy print that's being displayed in a gallery, on a wall, or somewhere. And to have that print to be exposed properly, that's very important. And so Ansel goes through the process in the dark room to make a print from film, but you, of course, you can use that to also make your print when you come into the digital realm. That is with inkjet printers and commercial printers, and so these can still be very useful books. And I think they're also a lot of fun just to read a lot of the technical information from one of the greatest photographers, if not the greatest photographer in the history of photography. There's a couple other books that I really enjoy, and there's a lot of books on photography. I mean, you don't have to go with these ideas, but just to think that books can also be a great gift during the holidays. But the first one is Hollywood in Kodachrome. This book has Elizabeth Taylor, Ronald Reagan, Lucille Ball. I mean, there's a lot of photographs in this book that you can see. I mean, there's just so many photographs, just beautiful photographs in Kodachrome. And Kodachrome, of course, is one of my favorite films. I had the opportunity to use Kodachrome, years ago. And when they stopped making Kodachrome around 2009, that was it. It was done. And a lot of us are still, anticipating and hoping that in our lifetime that Kodachrome will return, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be, happening, at any time, soon, and it may never happen. But again, maybe it'll come back, or come back in an equivalent form, so we'll see. But another book is Kodachrome, 1939, I believe it is, to 1959, 20 years of historical photographs in beautiful Kodachrome film. I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, you've got, photographs from World War II, you've got Winston Churchill, Franklin Roosevelt, Joseph Stalin. These photographs are just great photographs. I mean, right here, just great photographs, historical photographs. I mean, it's just beautiful colors. It's a great book, I think, for anybody that really enjoys color photography, the history of photography. And so those are some ideas that you can use during this holiday season when it comes to shopping for that photographer, and just some ideas. And there's a lot of other things that maybe that you can think of that might be great gifts. If they're into film photography, like I said, film, stocking stuffers, maybe some darkroom equipment. Go over to the Intrepid website, and they have a great selection of large format cameras made brand new. over in the UK. And not only that, they also offer darkroom equipment now, small darkroom equipment that you don't have to take up a whole room to make, prints from negative film. So they have that now with the opportunity to do 35 millimeter all the way up to, 4x5. So that's all great ideas for the photographer. And there's also other things like bulk film loaders to help, as far as to save maybe money on film. They can use that and buy bulk film and load it into cartridges that are empty. And I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that you can check into and find out what they like, and and give those as gifts. But I think books are great. I think film is great. I think memory cards or digital, SD cards are great. And for that new photographer, maybe that needs an upgrade on a camera, or they don't have a good camera right now, why not gift a good, either film or digital camera for the holidays? I think you'll find that there's a lot of enjoyment in photography. And again, thank you for joining me this week on our holiday edition of Shutter Chat. Have a safe and happy holiday season and a very happy and safe New Year. I'll see you later. Have a great one.